So thank you so much for coming. My name is Rachel Fletcher. I'm the Managing Director of FCS Associates. And we run a quarterly event called the Charity Hub. And so thank you to lots of familiar faces here today, and also to any new people that are joining us. I think one of the fantastic things about Charity Hub is we were always a physical event, usually based in Sheffield, but doing an online event like this has really allowed us to reach out across the UK. And so today we often have participants from all over the UK, which is absolutely fantastic. Just a few words of etiquette. If you are happy to put your camera on, we'd really appreciate it, just so we can see some smiling faces back at us. And during the presentations, if you can mute or during the event, but very happy to take questions through the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask a question, that's absolutely fine. But just with us having such a large number of people, can be very distracting to have any sort of background noise. So what I'll do, I'll kick us off now with our first presentation. Okay, so today, 19th of January 2021, where did 2020 go? I'm sure many of us are thinking that, but welcome to the Charity Hub. But today we're going to focus on a variety of different topics and also look at some grant funding opportunities. So without further ado, I'll just move us on. So thanks for joining us. As I mentioned, what is the Charity Hub? Well, it's a welcoming and friendly community of like-minded organisations. So the vast majority of you here today will be charities, will be social enterprises coming together to get to know one another and also to learn from one another. We've been running Charity Hub now for 5 years, which I find amazing in itself. We tend to run it 3 times a year, mostly in Sheffield, but for the last, this is our 3rd event now since the first lockdown, and so we're getting quite familiar with running it online as well. And it's certainly something we'll look to do in the longer term, is how we can keep the good things about running an event like this online whilst also enjoying meeting face to face again, which at some point I'm sure in the future that will happen. So who is FCS Associates? Okay, well, we're a small consultancy company. We're based in Sheffield, and there's 4 of us in the team today. It's myself, Emma and Julia, who are on this particular meeting, and Andy, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. In terms of what we do lots of business focused activities. So we have contracts with people like Sheffield Council, Sheffield City Region Growth Hub and Barnsley Council to provide support to businesses, general business advice. We also do a lot of work on public sector tender writing, and probably what we're best known for is grant work, so grant identification and helping organisations apply for business grants. We have a free grant and tender bulletin, which goes out every week, and I'll be showing you that in a minute. And also we've got lots of grants on our website. We also very much support lots of charities with exactly the same services, so grant support, grant identification. And we normally do a Charity of the Year, which we did run last year, and as soon as we can, as soon as we're all back together again, it's something we certainly want to pick up again in the future. So once we know more about that, we'll certainly let you know. In terms of resources that you can get for free, because we're always being asked about what grants are available. On our website, there's a whole host of different grants that are available. So just take a look. It's divided by all sorts of different categories. And Emma, one of my colleagues, will be showing you a little bit later about those grants. And we also do a free grant bulletin, which goes out to about 3,000 people every week. So it's not something that we follow up. You're not going to get a phone call from us saying you've opened our bulletin. It's purely there for information purposes so that you can find out about grants, because I always found it really frustrating that people would find out about grants when they'd already closed or when it was too late. And so it's really important that, you know, that's why we do this free bulletin every week, so that organisations, charities and social enterprises do find out when they should. In terms of a couple of free events coming up that you might be interested in, I'm doing a Doing Business with the Public Sector workshop tomorrow. It's run on behalf of Business Sheffield and it's free to attend. So if you are thinking and wondering what's changed since Brexit, certainly, you know, register on to come to that workshop. The priority is for organisations based in Sheffield, but they do allow other organisations outside Sheffield to come along if they've got spare places. That's on the Business Sheffield website. And the second one there is grants to support business recovery and growth. I do cover social enterprises in that particular workshop on the 27th. It's another free 2-hour workshop. So if you want to come along to that, please have a look at the Business Sheffield website and sign up, and it'll be great to see you there. So that's those 2 events. Okay, so what's the agenda for today? Well, a short introduction by myself. Then we're going to do what we did last time, which seemed to work well. It always fills me with fear, thinking when I press the button, will it actually work? So we will see. But it's virtual networking. And the idea is to allow groups of you to just have a chat and introduce yourselves to one another, because that was one of the things that we found we really enjoyed when we met physically. And so we want to try and continue to do that even in a virtual environment. I'm then pleased to welcome 2 really great speakers. We've got John Barber from the Workwise Foundation, and he's going to talk to us about how to adapt in COVID times. And then Rachel Veach-Straw from Key Fund, and she's looking at how social finance works and how it can make your organisation more resilient. And then finally, Emma's going to present to us some grant highlights, grants that you might not be aware of that have just come out this week. Question and answers if there's anything that you want to talk to us about. And then we have our prize draw, which is for charities and social enterprises who are attending today. FCS is donating £150 to a lucky attendee, which Julia will be pulling out at the end. And then we close at 12. Okay, so that's the sort of run of things for today. I'll now just explain very briefly about virtual networking. So as I mentioned, Charity Hub's very much about meeting new contacts and also catching up with people you might not have seen in a while. And that's difficult in a virtual environment. And so what we do, we take advantage of the functionality on Zoom to do our breakout rooms. So in a moment, I'll put you into a breakout room, probably about 5 people. Please try and have your camera on, particularly for this. Just introduce yourselves, have a chat, probably 5 to 10 minutes that we'll stick in those rooms. There's a countdown at the top, so you'll know when it's coming to an end, and then you'll all of a sudden find yourself back in the main room. So I'll stop sharing this presentation now, and I will go out to the breakout rooms, and I'm going to create probably 5 breakout rooms. So I'm going to create them now. You'll be assigned automatically to a breakout room. Please then unmute yourself and have a chat with people in that room. And then hopefully when we all come back together, I'll just ask a few people who they've met, and we can get going on to the presentations. Right. So here we go, see if it works.